Film, film, film. I love film. I love the way it looks. I love shooting it. It probably even smells good. But it's getting more expensive by the year, and it's not very convenient, is it? So most of the time, honestly, I shoot with my digital camera because I'm cheap and I'm lazy. And over the years, I have been working at building my own Lightroom presets that at least approximate the look of film. Coincidentally enough though, a film emulation plugin company reached out to me, little old me, asking if I wanted to try their software and make a video about it. And I thought that sounded right up my alley. So today, I'm gonna show you guys how to install it, what it does, and then we're gonna go through some photos together and see if it's any good. So stay tuned. Let's jump right into it. So if you wanna download the software yourself, you can download it for free. I believe it has all the features, but it will export with a watermark unless you buy it. But good way to test it. So if you head over to dehancer.com, you go to the products, then you click on photo, and the download button is down here. Once you download it, you have to install it in Lightroom. So you go to Lightroom, you click on preferences, and then here you choose under external editing where the software is. Click choose, and get Dehancer down there. Now, I read the manual best I could. sRGB is what they want for color space, 16-bit, and I think the rest is good. So leave it like that. Now, I have curated some images from my catalog, which is just the most convenient ones I could find, and we can go through them now. So let's start off easy. Let's pick this one, because this one doesn't have any skin tones or anything, and it's pretty basic. So what you do is if you go over to the Develop tab, what they said in the manual is they want you to adjust the picture a little bit, and I've played around with this myself. So this is what they tell you to do. And you know what? I'm going to just give you guys these Lightroom presets so you can play along with me. In fact, I'll even give you the photos. How's that? Then we can all do it together. So I made it here. It's called pre. So this is what they said. They said they wanted -40 contrast and +60 blacks. Honestly, I basically just been flattening the image because when it goes into the software, it doesn't work very well unless it's flat, in my opinion. So I'm gonna just flatten this a bit, turn that up. Let's maybe turn some whites up a bit. The idea is just to get this thing pretty flat. We don't want any peaking or anything like that, but and not too much contrast either. That looks pretty good. So what we do, edit in, that was a right click by the way, and then Dehancer. Edit. So from what I can gather with Dehancer is it is a supplement to Lightroom. I'm only talking about Lightroom in this video. It definitely works for like, I believe it works for like DaVinci Resolve and other ones, but we're going to talk about Lightroom. So it is not a replacement to Lightroom. It just adds a bunch of new features that Lightroom currently can't do, such as like film bloom. There's a bunch of stuff on here, and we can go through it. So basically, if we go over to films, there's a whole bunch of film presets here. And so the easiest thing you could do is you could just click on them and go through them all, right? Sometimes you're going to get really good results. Sometimes maybe not so much. So you can do that. And then over here, you have all these different sliders to play with it. And these aren't going to be behaving in a way like the Lightroom one is. So that's why I say it's supplemental. So we can go to the print head here. You know, we can change the tone of the print head. But the ones that I really like, film grain. The film grain on Dehancer, I think looks better than the Lightroom film grain. I'm still playing around with that. But so far, I would say I think it looks a little more convincing. So that one's good. The halation is good too. Halation is adding definitely a little bit more of like a, kind of like a weird kind of like blurry glow. That's how I would describe it. And then obviously there's film bloom. And so those two, in my opinion, are my favorite on here. But what I've done is I've just gone through the presets that they've made, because they've also made some presets, and I've saved them. You can save them as a favorite. So that's what I've done. I think I've picked 5 here, and these are the ones I've basically been using for everything. It just simplifies it because, like I said, I'm lazy, and I'm probably going to do a little bit of editing in Lightroom anyways. So this is the original. This is what we had, right? Now we can just click on, there's a Fujifilm Pro 400H, there's a black and white, there's Kodak Gold, and there's Portra 400. So, you know, give myself a few options and then I can pick from those. I'm going to say I like the Fuji Pro 400H. I'm not going to touch anything else. I'm just going to click OK. It's going to make a TIFF file in Lightroom. Okay, there it is. So here is the original. Let's go set reference photo. And then here is the after. Now, I wouldn't call this a win right now. It definitely looks a little bit closer, but I personally would add a little bit more. So what I've done is I've added a little film dehancer post. And this is just something that I would do to spruce it up a bit. I can give you guys this plugin as well. So I put a little S-curve on it. Didn't really mess with any of the colors. Everything is the same there. And I was lazy, so I added a little bit of film grain. But now we can go in and fix the exposure a bit. So let's see here. That's pretty good. Get the blacks. I think that looks way better already. So if we go to the original, that was the original. And in a few clicks, we got that, which I think does look pretty filmy. I don't know if it's exactly like film, but definitely more filmy. Let's pick another one. I think we should let's do another like tropical one, because those are kind of fun. Yeah, this is one in Mexico. This was shot on my Ricoh GR3X. And by the way, like these are all like from a few different cameras. And so far, Film Dehancer has done a pretty good job of all the cameras I've thrown at it. So let's go Film Dehancer Pre, kind of flatten it out a bit, boost the exposure. I know that it does like a pretty decent exposure on Film Dehancer. So we're going to do that. Maybe bring that down a bit. Maybe bring that up a bit. Maybe that. Yep, that looks pretty flat to my eyes. And again, we have to make sure our white balance is good. I haven't been adjusting it because I think I've pre-adjusted them. But you want to do that before you go into Film Dehancer. So we go in, right click, Film Dehancer plugin, boom. Now again, I'm just going to use these 5 presets because like I said, I'm lazy. You can go through all these sliders to your heart content, okay? But I've just found some looks that Dehancer has made that I think look pretty good. So we're going to go with that. I like, I like the Portra 400. I do. So I'm going to hit OK. It's going to think about it for a while. Okay, we are in. So here's the before going into Film Dehancer. Here is the after. Before and after. And now I'm going to add this little Lando Dream Film Dehancer post. Add that in there. Okay, we're going to go in and adjust a few things. So let's start with the midtones. That looks pretty good. A little bit of blacks. Maybe something like that. Bring the highlights down a bit, I think. I'm just doing these really rough, as you can see. That looks pretty good, I think. Something like that. So now, there is our before. And there is our after. Before. After. Before. after. Kind of cool, right? Let's do another one. So I think let's do human. Let's do human next. So here's human. This was shot on a old Canon 5D Mark 1. So we'll go in, film to enhancer pre. I'm pretty sure I already did the white balance, but that looks good enough, like a white balance to me. Something like that. Why not? I'm going to bring those down, bring that up a little bit. Yeah, something like that. So we go in, edit in the enhancer. Waiting. Okay, we are in, so here we go. 400H, gold 200, Portra. Between these two, I'm going to go 400H because I like what it did to the midtones more. Okay, so we are in. So there's the before and there's the after. Before and after. We'll add the little bit of this to there. Maybe bring this back down a bit. Something like that. I'll go over here again. I'll play with the midtones. Maybe the shadows. Let's see. Something like that, I think. And then the nice thing is you can actually get through these edits pretty quickly. The few clicks. I mean, it's really only one click for the film part. So yeah, let's do a before and after now. So there is the before, and then there is the after. Before and after. Does it look like film to you? Put it down in the comments. I think it looks pleasing. And I'm sure if you played around with the sliders forever and maybe you had a reference, you could get things closer. Yeah. Now, let's do... let's do this fairy one. That's cool. Yeah, let's do this fairy one. So, by the way, like, Film to Enhancer isn't paying me to say any of this. I think they're giving me a free license, which is still going to be determined if I even use it. I just thought this would be a fun video to make. We can go through it together and check it out. And then they also told me, you know, I get to say whatever I want, obviously, because I wouldn't accept it if I couldn't. And they wanted constructive criticism or deconstructive criticism. So I thought it was a good deal either way. So, down with the whites, up with the shadows. And I think I'm happy with that white balance. Let's just double check. Pick something white. That's too warm for me. That's too green. This is why I don't like using white things as a white balance card. You can look at my white balance video on that. That's pretty good. Okay, so go in, dehancer, boom. Okay, so we could go black and white, but I think this is a pretty colorful image, so let's go. Oh, I think I like the gold this time. It's got a little bit more punchy blacks. Let's go gold. Now, I don't think it looks exactly like Kodak Gold 200. But again, with like digital emulation, like film behaves differently with white balance and exposure a lot differently than digital. So like what may look exactly like Kodak Gold for one specific image isn't going to work for the next. And I think that is the fallacy with digital film emulation, is you can get really close for one image and then the next it looks nothing like film. All right, we are in. So what did it really do? I mean, if we look at it from this much of a zoom, it did a fair amount, but it's still pretty subtle. So I like adding a little bit of heat to it with this little dehancer post preset. There we go. give it a little more pop, you know? I like my images to pop, whether film or digital. So I'll go back down here. I'm just adjusting a few things each time, right? It's the same few things because I'm trying to make these quick edits. Quick and dirty edits. Something like that. And play with the highlights a bit. That's pretty good. Whites go somewhere to there. The blacks. Boom. Okay. So there is the after. Now, this was the before. And this was the after. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. It's up to you to decide if it's worth the money or not. That's why I said try the trial, see if it's any good. But it is cool that companies are starting to do this because I think most people like the film look, at least like from my Instagram, it seems that way. The film look I don't think is going anywhere either. It's just very classic, very pleasing tones to my eyes. So the more that we can get digital to look like film easier, I say the better. Anyways, I'm not going to give you a conclusion because that's up to you at the end of the day. But if you want to buy Film Enhancer, you can use my coupon code LandoDream at checkout and you'll receive 10% off. And it does help the channel. I mean, I've spent a lot of money here. Haven't got any money yet, so that would be cool. Help buy that cool light I got from Alibaba. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in another video. See you later.